I won't go into too many specifics here, but I've had a leader in the past that always wanted me to fire one of my best workers, and it was for personal motives. It was a revenge activity that I didn't realize until 6 months later. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Leadership Project Live, where today's live stream show is all going to be about building your own leadership credo and becoming the leader that you wish you always had. The ultimate goal, though, is to become the leader that you wish you always had, the leader that your team deserve, the leader that you'll be proud of when you go home to your families at the end of the day. The material that we're going to be using today comes straight out of my book, You're a Leader, Now What? And it's a key topic that I've addressed in the book around building this leadership credo and about becoming the leader that you would be proud to be. It goes through a series of topics around this. Now, what is the typical story here? What happens is that leaders often fall into their first leadership role. They may be exceptional at what they do. They might be a great accountant, a great software engineer, a great nurse, whatever your profession is. There's a good chance that you are promoted due to your technical prowess. And then you get into this first leadership role before anyone has really spoken to you about what it takes to be a leader. And you do need to make some changes in the way that you go about your work if you want to be a great leader. In the absence of any other information, what most leaders end up doing is mimicking the behavior of leaders before them. They start looking at the role models that they've had. They've seen other leaders behave in a certain way, and now they're the leader, so they feel that it's probably their turn, that they need to do these same behaviors that they've seen from others. But here's the problem. Most people don't even like their boss. I know that seems extreme, but the stats tell us that whether it's research from Gallup or from the Association for Talent Development, only 1 in 5 people in the world truly love their boss and like their job. So if you're mimicking the behavior of people before you, you're setting yourself up for a failure before you start. So what I'm going to encourage you to do today is to be far more intentional with that. You've been promoted because people see something in you, something about you. We don't want you to be just a cookie cutter of the person that came before you. We want you to be you. We want you to be authentically you, and then start doing these shifts that you need in your leadership. And there are shifts that are needed. Your focus does need to change. There are 3 dimensions of leadership: leading self, leading others, and leading the business. And as you go into different leadership roles, you need different percentages of each of those. And it's not going to be about you anymore. It's going to be about your team. So you are promoted for your technical prowess and being good at what you do. But now what got you here is not going to be what's going to work for you now, or it's not going to work for where you want to go. So you do need to make some shifts, but I want you to make very subtle shifts. And this all starts with what we call building your amalgam leader. So if I come back referencing to the book again, because this is a specific section within the book around building this amalgam leader and building your model of leadership, working towards your leadership credo. So what we do is we start looking at this concept called the amalgam leader, that is the sum of the positive attributes of leaders that you've admired in the past, minus the negative attributes that you didn't like. Everyone is a work in progress when it comes to leadership. Even those that work on it every day, you never finish leadership. You never finish. You're always looking to get better. So how do we build this amalgam leader? What we do, think of all of the leaders that you've had in the past, the good, the bad, the indifferent. And I want you to really think about what it was about them. In particular, I want you to think about how they made you feel. Because in the famous words of Maya Angelou, people may forget what you did, they may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So coming back to our amalgam leader, what we're looking for is the ones that inspired you. Who are the leaders in your past, present, could be recent past or longer term into the past? Who are the ones that inspired you? And what specifically did they do? Then we think about which leaders diminished you. Which ones made you feel like 2 inches tall? The ones that it really didn't work for you. And same question though, what specifically did they do? I won't go into too many specifics here, but I've had a leader in the past that always wanted me to fire one of my best workers, and it was for personal motives. It was a revenge activity that I didn't realize until 6 months later. So she was putting me in a position where she was always wanting me to fire this incredible worker. I've had another one that would just disappear all the time and no one would know where he was. So I look at all of these attributes. I look at people that talk down at people, that ask them questions that put them on the spot. A chairman of a company that I used to work for who would put people on the spot all the time and ask a question in a way where you couldn't really say no. And it was almost like an element of corporate bullying is the best way I could describe it. And this is the birth of what we call our leadership credo. So our leadership credo is a bunch of statements as a leader that you're committing to. You're committing to these statements as to how you're going to behave as a leader. And they'll start with statements like, as a leader, I. And you finish that statement with a very positive affirmation of the type of leader that you want to be. It can also be, as a leader, I will never. And this is where we start building up our list of things that we would never do to another human being. So in the daily reflection, we're then asking ourselves these questions at the end of every single day. And for those that know me well, I've done this every single day for 11 years straight now. I ask myself these questions. What worked well? What didn't work well? What would I do differently next time? What did I learn about myself and what did I learn about others? And in doing that, I'm using my leadership credo as a reference point. What went well against the leadership credo? What didn't go well? What would I do differently to stay true to the leadership credo in the future? So this is what it's about. This is how you become the leader that you wish you always had. You do learn from leaders around you, but you don't have to mimic identically their behaviors. You learn the good, you learn the things that you didn't like, and you build your own model of leadership, the amalgam leader, and then convert that into a leadership credo, which is an accountability statement that you're going to hold yourself true to.